All right, what's up, guys? So in this video, I'm wanting to go over banking. It's seems kind of boring and stuff, but it's not. Trust me, it's something that you need to have locked in at the beginning. That way, whenever you do want to, really lock in your bookkeeping and your back end stuff, it's not so chaotic. I'm saying this from experience because I started 4 years ago and I was trying to figure out, how to pay myself, how to do any kind of business thing, and it took me a while to figure it out. So what I started doing was the profit first method, and great method, and I still think it's a good method today, but I don't think it's one you should go with. um, if you are planning on just hiring a bookkeeper and just saying like, please figure this out, they could figure it out. It'll cost a lot of money for them to figure it out because with the profit first method, you're going to have a ton of different banking accounts. Now, it's simple for the business owner to log into their bank account and have their inventory account and see how much money is in that inventory account, and then their operations account, their supplies account, their owner's pay account, their taxes account, and you have all these different checking accounts and savings accounts and stuff. And it's easy for you to log on to your bank account and spread out that money to each account and be like, all right, I have $5,000 in inventory, I have $2,000 in operations cost account. It's really easy, and I think that the problem that people don't take into consideration is the back end work that it involves. I have been going back and oh, what's up, cars? I have been going back in and trying to clean up all of my 2024 year, pretty much starting fresh. Not not doing years past that, starting a new what we call a journal entry. I'm starting a new journal entry on 2024 to just capture all the money I had up until that date, and then reconciling the rest from the years. Now, with the profit first method, it also, if you've ever read the book, it's a great book. I would recommend you reading it. It's just hard for me to suggest someone to use it now that I've done all this work on the back end. Because if you or yourself are going to clean up the books in QuickBooks or something, which is really the only way to be like spot on with your accounting, you are going to have to go back and account for the transactions that because like what it is you have two bank accounts. I have a Novo account and an Int banking account. My Amazon deposits into the Novo. I deposit from the Novo into my Int because my Novo is just holding all my tax money, all my owner's pay, and all my owner's pay. So it's pretty much just a holding bank account, but it gets deposited that money, so it spreads out to those, and then it gets deposited to my operations bank. So that's kind of the method that Profit First wants you to do. You have two different bank accounts, one bank account where it holds all your money, and then another bank account where you do all your operations out of. All the buying, your inventory, all the operations, all your tools and stuff, all come into this bank account. Now, my Int bank account, once that money gets deposited to Novo, I transfer it. So that's one transaction I have to account for in the back end. And then once it enters my operations, it goes into an income account. And that income account is solely just to receive money and then transfer it to the other accounts. So you transfer it into your income, and then that transfers out to your inventory, to your operations account, to your supplies, to your savings, to your owner's pay. If you haven't already pulled it out, I pull it out in Novo, but you can, if you're getting it deposited directly into the bank account, it'll go into owner's pay, owner's profit, and finally taxes. So there's all these different accounts over here, and then you got another account over here with several different accounts. And on top of that, you have credit cards. So with credit cards, your idea is to have all your inventory on one, maybe two cards, and all your operations account on one or two cards. One card, preferably. But I ended up having 16 different accounts, including credit cards. So In the back end, you have to do a transaction and account for each transfer, and then you also have to account for each credit card charge. You have to also account for everything on every single one of those accounts. Like, so if you're doing it monthly, even, which is the easiest, once you get to that point, if you're doing it monthly, you have to do, your Novo account, my Novo bank account. Then you have to do the income account. Then you have to do the operations account, the inventory account, the savings account. All of those accounts you have to go through and reconcile them, which is pretty much just make sure that they line up with each statement. But each one of those checking accounts has a statement. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that's a lot of work to do on the back end. Like I said, if you're going to hire somebody, you can hire me if you want. I do have a website down below. I am a certified bookkeeper now. So if you want to check it out, it is jonesbookkeeping.pro, because we're professional. But anyways, that's where it becomes complicated once you get to those several different accounts, because you're accounting for so many different transactions on the back end. On top of that, there's not only, oh, hold up. Kara says, what was the hardest part about your business in Amazon, managing inventory or something else? Yes, inventory is probably the most difficult part, just because it was hard for me to understand like how to do it at first. My last video, actually, I went into more how to, keep a hold of your inventory a little bit more. So go check that video out if you want. But yeah, inventory is tough. Any inventory-based business is going to be tough. It's going to be more complicated, I guess I should say, than like a service-based business. Like the product is you. There's no inventory to keep track of, so there's no numbers to keep track of. It's, you send someone an invoice, they pay it, you do the service for them, and then you're good to go. But inventory, it's like, all right, you got to keep track of your inventory over here, and then you also have to, take money out whenever you get sales or whenever a product gets lost, or it's a whole lot of moving parts. But seller board, link in the description, is definitely the best thing for Amazon to track your inventory, make that simple. But anyways, back on track here. The next thing to make banking simple is, so this one's kind of per basis. I'm a media seller, so I buy used books, used DVDs, and I resell them on Amazon. If you are a wholesaler, an online arbitrager, or something else, you're selling products that are new and stuff. If they do well in other countries, you may want to disregard this. I was just doing so little sales in Canada and Mexico, because I was also selling in those. I was doing such little sales. I'd get maybe $100, from Canada every now and then hopefully I wouldn't have to pay Mexico's subscription. So with those two, it was very easy for me to just drop it. I just dropped those and moved on, because it's too much to deal with. Because not only whenever you're dealing with the deposits from Amazon USA, you're having to go through and do all those. Well, then you have to go back through and do all the Canada, and then you got to go back through and do all the Mexico. I am going to go over a video about how to use QuickBooks to, account for the Amazon deposits, because the thing is you can't just say, okay, Amazon deposited this much, done. It's not like that, because Amazon has a holding account, and you have to account for that. If you don't account for the holding account, then your income is going to be inflated. So you have to, or your profits, I guess, so you're going to be inflated, and your income is going to be inflated. So you have to account for a holding account. So whenever Amazon gets deposited, they have this line item for your statement, to where you have to put how much of the holding, how much did Amazon withhold from this check or this statement. You have to put that in there, and then you have to put how much your sales were, how much your refunds were, how much your fees were. All of that has to go in with the statement, and that's it's annoying whenever you have to do that with all of USA, and then you get done. You're like, oh crap, I have to go back and do all of Canada's now, and that's exactly where I'm at right now. That's why I wanted to make this video, because I've gone through 2024 and I've put in all of Amazon's deposits from USA, and I'm finally done. But I have to go back and do Canada's and Mexico's. So I just quit. I just quit selling on those. It'll just make Amazon's deposits way cleaner for me. I won't have to, type in these super low deposits, because literally I just got like a $70 deposit from Canada, which I'm not complaining about, obviously, but at the same time, I have to go in and do that accounting on the back end. So that's just things you have to think about that I never really thought about before. It's like, you know, it's stuff that is more for accounting purposes and stuff. But if you don't understand like your implications for what you're doing, then you're never really gonna grasp the concept of what you're actually doing. So like I looked at the numbers, and with Canada, I was in the negatives pretty hard because most months I was losing money. I was paying Canada's subscription fee. And so the money that, at least in 2025, the money that I've been paying out doesn't, and I don't offset it with deposits from Canada. So it's like, it's so easy for me to just disregard it. But if you're like a wholesaler and you are selling, I don't know what sells in Mexico, some sort of shoes that sell really well over there or something, then that's tough to let go of a really high margin market. But at the same time, it simplifies everything. And really, USA is the biggest global market in the world. So as long as you're, solidified in USA with pretty much everything, I'm pretty sure you're not going to have a problem, unless you're really specifically targeting, a country with a product that you've made, or the product that you found that sells really well with wholesale or something. So that's another reason, another way to simplify your banking is just focus on USA. It's If you're selling in the other countries, there's just so many other things that get kind of weird in the back end and stuff, because you're having to like do a. I don't think you don't have to do the pay transition, but whenever you log on to like Canada, Amazon, you see like this bigger number than you usually have, and you're like, I'm making a ton of money here. But you really, when you actually look at the numbers, Canada's conversion rate is less than ours or more than ours. I can't remember, but the numbers look inflated. So or Mexico's even crazier. You look like you're making $20,000, but it's 20,000 pesos. It's not, $20,000. Yeah, it's just something you got to think about whenever you're looking at stuff like that. Let's see. Oh, and I think the last thing that you can do to simplify the accounting stuff is credit card usage. Only have two for an Amazon seller. I mean, if you're running a huge, complicated, business, then you're obviously going to probably have more. But if you're a small seller, just trying to make some money, like I am, like single solo seller, only have two credit cards. Have your inventory card, where you purchase all your inventory. Don't try not to have more than one. If you're doing the credit card churning thing, if you're trying to get points and stuff, you can make that work. It's not gonna be horrible for you to not make that work. It's gonna be pretty easy on the back end. But if you have like two credit cards where you buy, like I had a setup where I bought all my purchases on one credit card on Amazon, and all my purchases on another credit card on eBay. And I mean, it's fine, but it's just a whole nother account that I have to reconcile. So if you're gonna do the credit card churning, you have one credit card that you always do, like the Visa Prime is what I use, because 5% back, can't beat that. But if you're trying to credit card churn, wait till the end of the month, flip to the other card. That way, or end of the statement. Sorry, you got a very key difference there. Wait till the end of the statement of that credit card, and then start on the next credit card at that date, and then continue on with that. That way, it's a clean break. From this date forward, this credit card was used for COGS, cost of goods sold, stuff like that. But all you need is 2 credit cards to make it super, super simple. 2 credit cards, inventory and operating expenses. Operating expenses like your tools, supplies, all that stuff. Anything that you have to spend money on to keep the business running, that's your operating costs. That will keep it really simple. That way you see like, okay, my Chase card, my Prime Visa, it's all inventory. My Capital One card, it's all operation costs. Whenever you go on the back end and see those charges, you know immediately that's what it is. But that's how you make it simple. Again, I am a certified bookkeeper. I am taking on clients right now. If you want to want me to check out your books and see if we can work together, there's a free call that you can do at my website in the link in the description below. Again, it's jonesbookkeeping.pro, not com, because com costs like $2,000, but .pro because we're professional. So if you want to do that, we can also see if we can get some cleanup work done. If you wanted to, like, all of 2024 cleaned up, I can do that, or in years past, I can do that. And I'm well versed in the Amazon sphere, but I will do other businesses as well. But just check that out. See if you want to make a call, and we can talk. But thanks for watching, guys. We'll